This is Thomas. Thomas is a 3-year-old male neutered. We know he did well with children. He came in from that environment. Now, we just put him into this, and he's obviously a little nervous.
Well, and I think that's important to remember, too. When you take a new pet home, they're going to be trying to acclimate to their new environment in addition to getting used to being around new people.
Sure.
So we need to give them time. That
right.
And so that's what Thomas is doing. But you notice that he's very accepting of the attention right away.
Right.
Even though he may be a little uncomfortable or unsure of his surroundings.
Unsure of his surroundings. But the point is, look at how he approaches. You don't see that avoidance like you saw with the other 2 cats. He's making an approach. He's coming up to him. He's already rubbed up against Sawyer's shoes. He's moving in. He's just a really, really nice cat. And so obviously he would be a good choice. And I think we're not necessarily saying that every time you should get an adult animal, but when you do get an adult animal, obviously you have a more settled cat or dog, and very often there's a history of whether or not the animal is good with kids, and that personality is already there.
It's already established.
Yes.
It's already established. When you get a kitten, sometimes people will come in and say, well, we want a lap kitty. Well, when they're 8 to 12 weeks old, we don't know if they're going to be a lap kitty. We don't know what their energy level is going to be. They're developing their personality. And here again, the correlation here is just like Sawyer is developing his personality and who he's going to be, kittens are doing the same. So we don't really know what their personality is going to be until they are 7, 8 months old. And even then, they adapt to their environment.
Right, absolutely.
And so when you're looking for a pet, especially if you have toddlers, you want to look for a cat or a dog that's been well socialized with all kinds of people, with young children, with elderly people, people that wear glasses, people that have dark hair, even sometimes, people in wheelchairs, so that they get used to a variety of things. And knowing that with an older child, that animal, or with an older animal, that animal will be more tolerant of some of the child's behavior.
Now, Sawyer, can you pick the kitty up? Can you pet the kitty and pick him up?
Can you hold the kitty?
Now, we're going to help hold, but and obviously Jen is helping support. But look at that body language, guys. Look at how tolerant Sawyer is to this. He's doing a little squirming. That's kind of typical. We can let go now, Sawyer. Let go now, Sawyer. But that's pretty typical. I mean, that's what you're going to see in a home environment.
And his ears are still forward. He's not showing any signs of, I don't like this. The tail is not switching.
Right.
So he's being very tolerant.
Right.
But then after a time, it's a few minutes. It's like, okay, it's time to let Kitty go.
Yeah, we're gonna let the kitty go walk away now. So we're gonna now. What you need to see is that he came right back to him. So he's not showing the fear. He's not showing any kind of avoidance. So he's actually doing quite well. I mean, this is really, and obviously Jen's being a good mom because she's supervising this.
Correct.
She's not allowing this to be something that Sawyer is doing on his own, and so that's what you really want to look for.
And I think your pet will start to learn that too, that when things do get a little rough or whatever, someone else is going to step in. But the fact that he is coming back for attention. Older pets tend to be, especially with toddlers, tend to be very forgiving. It's almost as if they understand, well, they didn't mean to do that.
Exactly. Interesting.
This is Trina. Trina is a 2-year-old pit bull. She was adopted from the shelter, and she was brought back when her owner was shipped overseas. She has scored very high on her temperament test as far as being around children. But as you can see, because she's been here at the shelter and she has been in her kennel, she is really excited to be here. And so that's another thing that you need to remember with children and dogs is dogs need a lot of exercise to help them expel some of that energy.
Hey, bud. I think it's important too, every dog is different or every breed is different. This is a high energy breed. This is a breed that's going to require a lot of exercise, just like Cheryl said. So her exuberance by no way, shape, or form is aggression. So I think that's one of the things that you have to think about when you're choosing a pet. Wonderful dog. I mean, Sawyer can actually give her a treat. She's got a soft mouth. Do I give her a treat? Good. Good. Yeah, you did good. Get off. And part of it is training your dog what's appropriate. You know, Trina does know tricks. Cheryl, maybe you want to do some.
Good girl.
She can do it down.
Good girl. Set. Wait. Down. Down. Good girl. Good girl. Can you stay? Oh, you're such a good girl.
And she's got a lot of exuberance. I mean, it's just one of those things that the breed is very typical of. Are you okay, Sawyer?
Yeah, he's got
Is he uncomfortable with her?
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
He likes her. He kind of pinched your nose, didn't he? He kind of pinched your nose. Yeah. Yeah.
And she was fine.
And she was fine with that.
She's extremely tolerant. She lived with kids.
You wanna give
so
her
she came
another
in with a
treat?
history of kids. And I know that there's a lot of people who are like, oh, pit bulls, oh my goodness. And that's one of the reasons that we're using her as a demo dog, is because we just want you to see how, and she's being very respectful as far as just
And I think
staying.
it's important too that when you have young children and you have a dog, you train your dog with your children, so your dog learns to respect your child as part of the pack. And so, again, it's that child following what mommy and daddy do.
And this is a wonderful opportunity, and I tell people this all the time, is that go to an obedience class and go to a class that allows kids to come, because this is really important. The dog shouldn't just listen to mom and dad, the dog should listen to kids. So we're going to try a younger dog, and you'll see kind of the same thing as far as just how dogs and kids react to each other. This is Kurt. He's about 12 weeks old, male. This is pretty typical behavior of a puppy. Obviously, no manners. And like I said, no manners. I mean, this is just real typical behavior. You know, what's going on, what's happening. Jumping on kids is going to be pretty normal, pretty typical behavior. And just like kids, I mean, they're all over the place. They're like, oh, I got to get into this, I got to get into this.
Let's sit on the floor. Because that's where our children usually are. They're sitting on the floor watching television, they're playing games. And then you're going to have a puppy who, oh, I want to pull on his shirt, I want to play with his toys, I want to lick him in the ear.
The other thing
What's
too
that puppy
is just
doing
that,
to you? Huh?
And puppies are obviously learning bite inhibition, so they bite on everything. They're teething, they're chewing. And honestly, I mean, it's a perfect example. Is like it's too much, you know. And sometimes kids and puppies really aren't a good match. Parents are the ones that really know whether or not their child is going to do well in these situations. But it's kind of a myth that, oh, I have to get a puppy because I want it to grow up with my child and they will be, you know, bonded for life. Not so true, because truly, in some cases, because the puppies have sharp little needle teeth and they're typical puppies, they can hurt the kids, and the kids then are afraid of the puppy, or vice versa. You know, the kids just in their exuberance, you know, are grabbing and pulling and doing typical things with puppy. The puppy is afraid. So this is where it's one of those things, especially when you're getting a puppy this young, constant supervision, constant training, constant reinforcing for everybody.